My name is Kim Grossmore, and I was part of the Unique Self-Emergence cohort in 2024, 2025 with David and Claire, and I live in San Jose with my family. I felt like I had done so much spiritual work. I'd done a lot of therapy. I'd gone through a lot of different kinds of self-help, and when I was in the field, working in the field of facilitating healing myself, and that what I struggled with was maintaining a regular practice that would support me to stay on the path of healing and wellness and to stay in it, that I would just keep falling into these darker places or just fall off the wagon of like meditation or whatever I was practicing that I knew was helpful, and that I wanted to experience more aliveness and joy and just the awe in my day-to-day life in the world that I knew was there and that I have experienced in many places and times in my life, but that was just often not accessible in a given month. And so when you described the course, and I just thought if only this, it's going to be a monthly time with accountability to show up, get some tools, get some things to practice, and be in community that'll keep me on a regular path. What I have experienced is it absolutely was a practice community. It was a very sweet group of people, and I did really enjoy having that monthly time to look forward to, and I used it as accountability. Like, I'm going to do this work because I want to get the most out of it, and I really appreciated the way that you and Claire and guided us each month and gave us the things to do, and that we had. So I really enjoyed like doing the homework. And then I think it was at the last quarter, the last couple of sessions, that felt really transformative, that really coming through to newer material, newer spaces, to really the culmination of prior work I'd done, prior practice, that all of the practice that we did through the year that kind of all came together. And then I just felt like the last few months, especially with the archetypes and pulling it all together, like the Enneagram, the unique self, risk statement, everything coming together, felt like there was just this switch that flipped for me, and just suddenly feel like I have a lot more access on a daily basis to awe and the joy and the lightness and creativity. And it's almost like there's a way that I've sort of moved beyond practices. Like, yes, I have all these practices, but I'm not like leaning on them to get me somewhere. It just feels like a door opened or a veil like lifted, something that I was able to move through. I think the biggest one is my orientation to parenting my daughter. There really was a shift that happened this summer, and it coincided with the learning about the archetypes and where was I strong and where did I want more of. And so my relationship with my daughter just became like the ground with which I was able to just give myself over to a different way of being, a different archetype that I hadn't really before. And so it dramatically changed how I'm experiencing my 17-year-old. Something shifted over the summer, and we're really close. I'm just loving her and being more playful and more creative. And then in terms of my work, I think that the Unique Self-Emergence course helped me to connect dots or understand more deeply the ways in which the false self the beliefs that I had that were holding me back, or that were the beliefs that come up when I'm scared or feel doubtful or insecure, that it was just I've been able to put those down more gently, or just they have so much less power over me in my work life. And that I think that shift has also, there's just been a turning where I'm no longer as oriented towards the fear and protectiveness, and I'm oriented much more towards the ways I can uniquely be of service in the world. And just the whole framing of what is my unique gift, that if that can be my driving question, that helps all of the last remaining bits of chatter that get in the way, just to quiet. It's almost like I don't even think of like living as my unique self as like an identity. It's more like a living, moving way of operating in the world that comes from a place of more trust and enthusiasm and curiosity. And so I do think like what the whole thing of, there's never ever in the history of the universe going to be another particular human being that is me. And so what is that offering this universe? And for whatever reason, I'm sure other people, like I think probably even my sister would find that like such a big pressure question, but for whatever reason, for me, that feels like a really creative invitation that, yeah, I only got this one precious life, and so what am I going to do with it? And how can I particularly offer myself to this world? And so I think it's a way of living rather than who I am.